The multifaceted role of NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077. In the landscape of modern gaming, few titles have generated as much discussion and analysis as Cyberpunk 2077. Developed by CD Projekt Red, this open-world role-playing game promised players an immersive experience in a dystopian future filled with technological marvels and complex moral dilemmas. Central to this experience are the game's non-playable characters, NPCs, which play a pivotal role in shaping how players interact with and interpret the game world. Through an examination of Cyberpunk 2077, we can explore the multifaceted roles that NPCs play in contemporary gaming narratives and mechanics. NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077 serve as primary vehicles for storytelling. Characters like Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves, are integral to the main plot, driving the narrative forward through their interactions with the player character. These NPCs deliver crucial story elements, provide background information, and offer different perspectives on the game's events. Moreover, the depth of character development achieved through NPC interactions is noteworthy. As players progress through the game, they witness the growth and change in characters like Judy Alvarez or Panam Palmer, whose personal stories intertwine with the main narrative. These evolving relationships add layers of complexity to the storytelling, making the game world feel more dynamic and alive. NPCs also contribute significantly to world building. Through casual conversations overheard on the streets of Night City or detailed dialogues with key characters, players gain insight into the socio-political climate, cultural norms, and technological advancements of the game world. This organic method of information delivery enhances the player's understanding and immersion in the cyberpunk universe. One of the most critical roles of NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077 is their contribution to player immersion. The game attempts to create a living, breathing world through the sheer number and variety of NPCs populating Night City. From street vendors and pedestrians to corporate executives and gang members, these digital denizens help create a sense of a bustling, diverse urban environment. The game implements dynamic NPC behaviors and routines to enhance this sense of realism. NPCs can be observed going about their daily lives, reacting to the player's actions, and responding to changes in the environment. While the execution of these systems received mixed reviews, the intent was to create a more believable and responsive game world. The design and presentation of NPCs also play a crucial role in player engagement. The visual diversity, unique fashion styles, and cybernetic modifications of NPCs reinforce the game's aesthetic and thematic elements, continually reminding players of the world they're inhabiting. NPCs are deeply integrated into the gameplay mechanics of Cyberpunk 2077. They form the backbone of the quest structure, offering missions, providing vital information, and serving as objectives. The variety of NPCs allows for diverse mission types, from high-stakes corporate espionage to personal favors for friends and allies. In combat scenarios, NPCs serve multiple roles. They can be enemies, allies, or bystanders, each with their own routines and behaviors. The player's approach to combat can be influenced by the presence of civilian NPCs, adding an extra layer of tactical consideration. The game's economy and trade systems are also largely NPC-driven. Vendors, fixers, and other characters offer goods, services, and opportunities for profit, creating a network of economic interactions that the player can engage with throughout their journey in Night City. Cyberpunk 2077's NPCs serve as a showcase for advancements in game technology. The AI systems governing NPC behavior, while not without flaws, demonstrate the increasing complexity of digital character interactions in modern games. The game attempts to create more realistic crowd behaviors and individual NPC routines, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in a densely populated open world. The graphical fidelity of NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077 is also noteworthy. Character models feature high levels of detail, with particular attention paid to facial animations and clothing textures. This visual quality contributes to the overall aesthetic of the game and serves as a benchmark for character design in contemporary AAA titles. NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077 offer avenues for player customization and agency. Through the game's dialogue systems and choice-driven narrative, players can shape their relationships with key NPCs, influencing both personal storylines and the broader narrative arc. These choices can lead to different quest outcomes, romantic relationships, and even affect the game's ending. The modding community has further expanded the role of NPCs in the game. User-created modifications allow for additional customization of NPC appearances, behaviors, and interactions, demonstrating the player's desire for even greater control over their game experience. Perhaps one of the most significant roles of NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077 is their ability to forge emotional connections with players. The game offers several romance options, each with their own unique storylines and character arcs. These relationships, along with platonic friendships developed throughout the game, can evoke genuine emotional responses from players. Characters like Jackie Wells, V's best friend, or Evelyn Parker, a mysterious fixer, leave lasting impressions on players through their complex personalities and story arcs. These emotional connections enhance the player's investment in the game world and its inhabitants. NPCs also serve as vehicles for exploring ethical dilemmas. Through interactions with characters representing different factions and ideologies, players are forced to confront complex moral questions, adding depth to the game's narrative and themes. It's important to address the controversies surrounding NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077. At launch, the game was criticized for numerous glitches and bugs, many of which affected NPC behaviors. These technical issues often broke immersion, detracting from the intended experience. There was also discussion about the disparity between the pre-release expectations of NPC behaviors and the reality of the launched game. Some players and critics felt that the NPCs lacked the depth and reactivity promised in marketing materials, leading to disappointment and debates about industry practices. The successes and shortcomings of NPC implementation in Cyberpunk 2077 offer valuable lessons for future game development. The game demonstrated both the potential and the challenges of creating a densely populated open world with reactive NPCs. Future titles may build upon these experiences to create even more immersive and responsive game worlds. Advancements in AI technology are likely to play a significant role in the evolution of NPCs in games. We may see more sophisticated behavior patterns, improved natural language processing for more dynamic conversations, and better integration of NPCs into emergent gameplay scenarios. NPCs in Cyberpunk 2077 serve a multifaceted role that goes far beyond mere background decoration. They are integral to the game's narrative, crucial for player immersion, central to gameplay mechanics, and serve as both technological showcases and emotional anchors. Despite the controversies surrounding the game's launch, the ambition behind its NPC design points to an exciting future for character interaction in video games. As the gaming industry continues to evolve, the role of NPCs is likely to become even more significant. They will continue to be a key factor in creating immersive, dynamic, and emotionally resonant gaming experiences. The lessons learned from Cyberpunk 2077 will undoubtedly influence future game designs, pushing developers to create even more believable and engaging digital worlds populated by increasingly complex virtual characters.